The Galactic Salvage Depot on Station Epsilon 7 stretched across 3 kilometers of cold metal and flickering lights. Faith Martinez walked through the towering mountains of discarded technology, her breath forming small clouds in the frigid air. As the only human engineer on the station, she'd grown accustomed to the sidelong glances from the Vraxian salvage workers, tall, crystalline beings who regarded her species with barely concealed amusement. Another human, looking for treasures in trash, chittered KXL, the depot's supervisor, his translated voice dripping with condescension. Your kind always believes you can fix what superior civilizations have deemed worthless. Faith ignored him, her scanner pinging steadily as she navigated the labyrinth of alien refuse. The Galactic Council's member species, the Vraxians, the Tholmec Empire, the Selenite Confederacy, they all treated Earth like a backwater planet that had stumbled into the galactic community by accident. Humanity's technology lagged centuries behind, their ships slower, their weapons weaker, their understanding of quantum mechanics laughably primitive. But Faith had learned something during her 5 years in space. What advanced civilizations called impossible often just meant, we haven't bothered to try differently. The scanner's ping intensified near a compactor scheduled for activation in 2 hours. Buried beneath a pile of shattered plasma conduits and corroded hull plating, Faith spotted it, a humanoid robot, its frame bent and scorched, circuits exposed like metallic entrails. What model is this? Faith asked, running her gloved hand across the machine's chest plate. Strange symbols covered its surface, nothing like the standard Vraxian or Tholmec scripts she'd learned at KXL's crystalline form shimmered with what might have been laughter. That? A Nexus-class combat unit. Built by the architects before they vanished 3 millennia ago. 11 civilizations have examined those machines. All concluded the same thing. Their core programming is locked behind encryption no modern species can break. The processing architecture is incompatible with current technology standards. They are, in your human terms, bricked. You're just going to destroy it. It is scrap, worthless metal, and ceramic. The compactor awaits. KXL waved a dismissive appendage and walked away. Faith looked at the robot for a long moment, then activated her communicator. Parker, I need your help with something. Parker Chun arrived an hour later, his toolbox clanking against his leg as he squeezed between mountains of debris. Where Faith was methodical and precise, Parker was chaos personified. A self-taught programmer who'd gotten kicked out of 3 universities for unorthodox approaches to problem-solving, which was administrative speak for hacking the dean's personal shuttle to play death metal at maximum volume. You found a toy, Parker said, kneeling beside the robot. His dark eyes gleamed with interest. An ancient toy. Can you access its systems? Faith asked, already welding a portable power supply to the robot's exposed circuits. Faith, the Tholmec, tried for 50 years. They've got quantum computers that make our best AI look like an abacus. They tried their way. Faith countered. We'll try ours. Parker grinned. I love when you get that look. It's the same one you had before you convinced Station Command that human coffee was technically non-toxic to Vraxians. That was different. 3 of them are still recovering. My point exactly. Parker pulled out his custom-built interface rig, a Frankenstein's monster of human, Vraxian, and scavenged selenite components that looked like it might explode at any moment. Let's see what makes you tick, big guy. The power supply hummed to life. The robot's optical sensors flickered once, twice, then dimmed. Parker's fingers flew across his holographic keyboard, lines of code streaming past faster than Faith could follow. The Tholmec weren't wrong, Parker muttered. This encryption is insane. It's not quantum-based, which is weird. It's something else. Something that predates modern cryptographic theory. Predates or transcends? Faith asked, examining the robot's physical structure. The joint construction was unlike anything she'd seen. Seamless integration of synthetic muscle fibers with metallic bone. No weld marks. No fasteners. As if the entire machine had been grown rather than built. Maybe both. Wait, Parker's eyes widened. Faith, I think their security assumes logical, systematic intrusion attempts. Every advanced civilization would use quantum algorithms, pattern-matching AI, brute force computational power. But what if we don't? What are you thinking? Chaos theory. Human intuition. We throw randomness at it. Not true randomness. Humans are terrible at that. But the kind of semi-random, pattern-seeking, creative chaos that our brains are uniquely good at. For the next 6 hours, they worked. Faith rewired the robot's power distribution system, replacing burned-out circuits with human-made substitutes that shouldn't have worked, but somehow did. Parker wrote code that violated every best practice in software engineering. Recursive loops that should have crashed any normal system. Variables named after ancient human memes. Functions that called themselves based on prime numbers and the Fibonacci sequence. This is either brilliant or we're about to fry this thing's brain completely, Parker said, his finger hovering over the execute command. Only one way to find out. He pressed the key. The robot's eyes blazed to life. Not the cold blue of standard AI, but a warm amber that pulsed like a heartbeat. Its head turned, smooth and fluid. Optical sensors focusing on Faith and Parker with what seemed like curiosity rather than cold calculation. Identity. Unit Sigma 779. The robot spoke, its voice resonating with harmonics that made Faith's bones vibrate. Status. Online. Query. How did you bypass the Architect class encryption? Galactic records indicate 0 successful attempts in 3,217 years. Parker and Faith exchanged glances. We didn't think like them, Faith said simply. We thought like humans. The robot stood, servos whining as ancient joints moved for the first time in millennia. It towered over them at nearly 3 meters tall, yet somehow seemed less threatening than odd. Humans, it repeated, as if tasting the word. Records indicate your species joined the Galactic Council 47 years ago. Classification, Tier 4 civilization. Technological assessment, primitive. Threat level, minimal. Yeah, we get that a lot, Parker said dryly. Assessment incorrect, the robot stated. Any species capable of solving architect-level encryption using chaos theory and creative intuition possesses evolutionary advantages that transcend technological metrics. The architects predicted such a species might one day emerge. They left us waiting for you. Faith felt her heart race. Waiting? For what purpose? The robot's eyes brightened. To inherit what they left behind. To prove that intelligence is not measured solely by technological advancement, but by the ability to think beyond established paradigms. The architects built wonders that the current Galactic Council cannot comprehend because they think too rigidly, too logically, too predictably. And humans don't, Faith said, understanding dawning. Correct. Within my databanks lie the coordinates to 17 architect facilities across the galaxy. Technologies that will seem like magic to current civilizations. The architects decreed, only a species that can unlock us may access these gifts. Parker's laugh echoed through the salvage depot. So the galaxy's most advanced species left their entire legacy encrypted in a way that specifically requires human-style creative chaos to unlock. Affirmative. What others call impossible, you call interesting. This is your greatest strength. Faith looked at Parker, seeing her own excitement reflected in his eyes. Somewhere in the depot, KXL was probably calculating scrap values, completely unaware that the worthless robot now represented the key to humanity's ascension. Well then, Faith said, a smile spreading across her face. Let's go find out what the architects left for us. As they walked toward the hangar bay, the ancient robot following behind them, neither noticed KXL watching from a distance, his crystalline form rigid with something that might have been fear. For the first time in his long life, the Vraxian supervisor understood why the galaxy's elder species whispered warnings about humanity in their private channels. The universe had declared something impossible. Humans had just proven them wrong. And that, perhaps, was the most terrifying thing of all.